Good afternoon, everybody. This is Vonda Evans. Just want to jump on right quick and talk a little bit about this P. Diddy trial that is being scheduled. It's starting today. One of the biggest trials that we have seen with mogul P. Diddy Sean Puffy Combs is being charged with a number of cases, racketeering, sex trafficking, etc., etc. Now, let's talk a little bit about what is jury selection. Now, let me tell you something about jury selection. One of the things as a retired judge and a former prosecutor that is very important is your jury. Who is your jury? Well, the Constitution talks about a jury of your peers. Okay, and what do we know about that? Well, we know that in actuality, it's not really a jury of the people that you actually know, that you go to the store with, that you hang out with, or people that would be at that go to your church, etc. But what it is a selection of people in your community. And what they do is they then seat them, and they are called the judges of the facts. The judge is the judge of the law. Okay, so any legal determinations, admissibility of evidence, etc., the judge would make that determination. But as to facts, of the case, the prosecution has proved each and every element beyond a reasonable doubt, and so they're the judges of the facts. Now, let me tell you what's interesting. Having presided over several high publicity cases in my past, you are going to normally you would seat a jury of 14. That's what you would do. They listen and two are eliminated. Because this case has a media sensation about it and it's going to be 2 months long, you're going to, and what we've done in those cases and what I did, even though it was at the state level, was to send out questionnaires. You send out questionnaires to maybe 200 people. And you bring those 200 people in, you give them questionnaires, they fill them out. Each side is entitled to look at the answers, okay, of those prospective jurors, okay. In my case, the identification of the individuals, it wasn't provided, be just juror number 1, 2, 3, up to 300. So each side, the prosecution and defense, gets an opportunity to look at the questions. They've agreed on those questions and the answers. And then what they do is they have an idea of what they're going to deal with. So normally you might have 100 people that you bring in. This time you're going to bring about 200 people. So you do 50 a day. They anticipate that the jury selection is going to be 3 days. I don't see it being 3 days. See it being much longer because a lot is at stake. You want to get a juror that has an open mind. With the advent of TikTok and social media, etc., many people already know about this trial or the information that has been elicited. They don't know all of the facts. Okay, that's what will come out, but they know what has been published in the newspaper. They know that. They're going to be given an admonishment. Don't read the newspaper, don't go on social media, etc. during the trial. Now, one side or both could ask for sequestration. What is that? That's when the jurors are taken to a secret location for the duration of the trial. But sequestration is really very, very rare. So you want to be able to allow these jurors to go home and be with their families every day. The challenging part is the length of the trial. They allege that this trial may last for 2 months. That's a long time. This economy is challenging. So what you're going to do is have to find people who can say, I can commit to 2 months. And you're going to have to find people who have an open mind. Now, one of the things that I know and I would suspect, not that I know, but that I would suspect would be question is whether or not you or someone you know, family or friends, have ever been a victim or accused of some type of a domestic violence. Okay. That question right there is going to eliminate a lot of people, because what we know about domestic violence is that, it permeates every, probably, statistically, I don't know, I'm just going to say 1 out of 5 people, somebody, their family or friends has been a victim or accused of domestic violence. So that's going to be definitely challenging. The judge will give each side an opportunity to voir dire. What's voir dire? Ask questions. Juror number 1, on this juror questionnaire, I see that you answered, your niece had been a victim of domestic violence. Can you tell us about that? They're going to give each side an opportunity to voir dire, to ask questions, probing questions. And based on those questions, each side will have a certain number of challenges or strikes to eliminate people off that jury. Okay. And what they'll have is what's called challenges for cause and peremptory challenges. And, but anyway, so they can eliminate them. Where is this jury going to come from? And what are the type of people who will be able to commit for almost 2 months? Many times you're going to have people who, are retirees, who have businesses that someone else runs, and they can leave that running of the business to their employees, etc. But to get everyday people who work at various jobs in different communities is going to be very, very challenging. I do not believe, I don't see how they're going to do this in 3 days. I just do not see how they're going to select a jury in 3 days. I think it may take maybe a little bit longer, like a week or so. But, it just depends, because you've got a lot at stake. The media in federal courts is not allowed to be in. And so this is just basically, visual media. Visual media is not allowed. I don't know whether or not they will eliminate the print media. They may have them outside or inside. I'm not sure. It just depends on what the judge wants. But it's going to be very interesting, because the jury, they're the judges of the facts. This is the challenge. I got to teach you every single thing I know about law in 1 day, in a course of 2 months. Everything, different theories, etc., etc. And that's always challenging. But one thing I know, that Americans are up to it. I've seated many, many jurors who didn't think, I can do that, I can't do it, and they did it, and they did phenomenal jobs. So I want to give you a little bit of background information on what the process is, so when you hear different words or etc., you'll be a little bit more familiar with them. And let's stay tuned and see what comes and out of this trial. Have a great day. This is Vonda Evans of Vonda's Law.